Hi everyone, thank you for joining. I appreciate all of you joining today. We're going to go ahead and get started. This is Cortland Russell, President and CEO of OSTEM Incorporated, and I'm going to be leading today's conference overview session for students and chapter leaders. If you're joining me via the Skype meeting broadcast, thank you for joining. Please know that you can see the presentation, or should be able to see the presentation that's on the screen. And if you have any questions, feel free to use the panel on the right to ask those questions, and members of our conference team will be answering them throughout the phone call. If you're joining via audio only on phone, please be aware that if you join both through phone and the broadcast, there's going to be a delay in audio. So if you can move over to the broadcast link, that may be a way for you to be able to experience the presentation and the audio portion of this call. If not, then I will be the only person on the call who can hear you. So if you have a question, feel free to come off of mute and you'll be able to ask that question directly to me. For everyone else, please bring your questions into the chat box so that a member of the team can answer those for you. We're going to be talking about a few different things today. We're going to be doing some team introductions of just some of the folks who are on the call and going to be answering your questions throughout the broadcast. We're going to do a few updates on the OSTEM mission, vision, and values that some of you may or may not be aware of. We'll be doing a programming overview and how to engage at the conference, as well as covering some conference logistics and funding for those of you who have that on top of mind, which I'm sure is many of you who are joining tonight. And we'll also do a special sneak peek of some things that are going to be changing with OSTEM. And of course, like I said, you can ask questions throughout the broadcast, so feel free to put those in the box or come off of mute if you're on the audio only and ask those questions to me. Before we jump fully in, I did want to take a moment to just pause and briefly reflect. We had a tragedy that happened in our OSTEM family over the weekend, and I just want to acknowledge our Georgia Tech chapter and the Georgia Tech Pride Alliance, who lost one of their student leaders this weekend. So I am going to take just a moment to pause and reflect and to put out good energy towards our Georgia Tech chapter as they deal with a difficult time. Thank you. All right, so we're going to jump right in. As I said, my name is Cortland Russell. I'm President and CEO of OSTEM Incorporated. I also happen to be our conference chair this year, a designation that came before my presidency position, which was started as of 2017. So happy to be serving as your conference chair as well for this year. Also answering your questions tonight will be Kyle Sharp, who is our conference vice chair, Matthew Welmers, who is our programming chair, and Janine Van Niekerk, who is our logistics chair. All great people for you to know. If you would like to see our full team, we've expanded quite a bit over the last several months, and I'd invite you, if you have any questions or want to know who the people are who may have been emailing you, put a face to a name if you haven't met those people in the past, feel free to go check out the full team at ostem.org/staff. Okay. So I did want to mention that we do have a new vision, mission, and core values. As of a couple of months ago, our OSTEM executive team met in Washington, D.C. Over the summer and really reflected on where OSTEM is going as an organization and where we want to continue to go in the future. And so we did a full update of a lot of the content that's on our website, but one of the main pieces of things that we talked about and spent a few hours on was our vision, mission, and values. And so I wanted to share those with the full group so that you were aware of those changes. And really the piece that I think is important to note here is that OSTEM as an organization is going to be pivoting to not only focus on our student chapters, which are our base and the core of where we have been as an organization, but also pivoting to focus on all LGBTQ people in STEM, no matter your designation. We strive to envision a world where all LGBTQ people in STEM are succeeding, and so we've expanded our vision and mission to reflect those changes. And we've also incorporated a new set of core values into one-word core values that we hope that all of you will take as you're leading chapters or thinking about starting chapters or being even members of chapters to think about as you move through your day-to-day activities as chapter leaders and such. So integrity, respect, intentionality, passion, and grit were the core values that we landed on. And we hope that you'll take a moment to go onto our website and share the new updated About section of our website if you'd like to share the mission and vision and values with your members. Those mission and vision and values are actually core to some of the changes in programming this year. So we wanted to talk a little bit about the programming schedule, and some of these may be a little bit more updated than what's out there on our website currently. So if you have any questions, this is the most updated schedule for our conference program, and there may be some slight changes that happen up into the next couple of months, but hopefully this stays kind of as our core schedule. So we'll be kicking off with a hackathon this year. We're doing a hackathon in partnership with Maven, which is an organization that focuses on K through 12 queer youth and connecting them with technology, specifically hack technology and hackathons. We're also partnering with the Chicago Queer Tech Club, which is a huge meetup group in Chicago that meets regularly, and it's a bunch of technologists in the Chicagoland area. And I'll give a little bit more about the hackathon in just a minute. We're also going to be doing a set of site tours on our Friday, so that's something you can look forward to. Our sponsors, Accenture, AECOM, and Boeing, have all graciously opened their facilities to us, and you can sign up for those tours during your registration process, and those will take place between noon and 4 p.m. On our Friday programming. We've also added a new to the conference session, so if you have members who this may be their very first OSTEM conference, this would be a great session for them to attend. It's from 2 to 3 p.m. on that Friday of our conference programming on the 17th. And I'll go into that a little bit more as well as we get deeper into the discussion today. We're keeping our safe space training from last year, and we're also continuing our career and graduate school boot camp, which I'll go into a little bit more. And then we'll have our opening dinner. The main portion of our programming is kicking off at 5 p.m. on Friday. So if you can't be there for any of the other exciting opportunities that we have going on Thursday or Friday, I'd encourage you to make sure that your chapter and yourself is in Chicago and at the conference hotel no later than 5 p.m. for opening reception on Friday, the 17th. Perfect. You'll notice that the Saturday and Sunday programming for our conference looks relatively similar to what it has been in previous years, so no big changes there, although we do have a couple of new conference programming tracks which we'll be talking about as well, and some other opportunities for you to engage, but very similar in terms of the overall schedule and how it looks for all of you. So if you've been to a conference before, you kind of get the understand what's going to happen on Saturday and Sunday, and we will be closing all of the programming for the conference by 1 p.m. on Sunday the 19th. So plan to, if you're outside of the Chicago area, plan to leave or fly out after that 1 p.m. close on Sunday. And just a quick note as I go into the next portion of this, if you're just joining us on the broadcast, feel free to put in your questions and questions into the box on the right-hand side of your screen, and any of the members of our conference committee will be happy to answer those as we go through. So just wanted to touch a little bit more on our Hack for Queer Youth partnership with Maven and Chicago QTC. So like I said, that's going to be kicking off at 6 p.m. on Thursday, and we're going to be actually leaving from the conference hotel at around 5 p.m. We'll be traveling to a location in downtown Chicago, most likely for that hackathon, and so you'll be working, if you're interested in front-end or back-end development, or presenting your technical skills in some way to the development team, you'll be able to join us for that portion of the programming, and you will be able to also work with professionals either from our sponsoring organizations or folks from the Chicago area who will be participating in this hackathon programming as well. There is a little bit of a conflict with our Friday programming for those of you who are interested in some of those other bits of the Friday programming. We are going to have a conflict with our main conference programming on Friday, so you would not be able to do that programming if you were attending the hackathon, but we hope that the hackathon will be an enriching enough experience that you will want to kind of split your time or go to the hackathon and then join us for the full day Saturday and Sunday programming. To touch on the Career and Graduate School Bootcamp that's happening on Friday from 3 to 5 p.m., this is an opportunity for those of you who may not have experienced this last year. It's an opportunity for you to connect with sponsors prior to the Career and Graduate School Expo, which will be happening on the Saturday of the conference. So great icebreaker between students and recruiters, and great way to kind of shake off some of those jitters. And our sponsors will be providing advice and direction to you on elevator pitches, resumes, any approaches that you may have for our Career and Graduate School Expo. So if you are coming to the conference and you need kind of those last minute pointers, they will be there at that event to be able to provide that direction. There's also a good amount of resources on our website that are available if you are interested in doing some kind of pre-work prior to the conference. If you check under our programming and resources section, we actually have a whole set of career resources, including videos that our sponsorship team recorded last year for critiquing resumes and CVs, as well as some other helpful hints and tricks that you may want to take a look at when it comes to LGBTQ inclusive resumes. We also have some great keynote speakers joining us this year from 3 different organizations and 3 different walks of life. We have Nancy McConaughey, who's a VP for Information Technology and a CIO for Raytheon in their Space and Airborne Systems division. We have Clark Holisher, who's a science teacher and coordinator for Equity, which is a group focused on K through 12 education, and specifically Clark focuses on LGBTQ inclusion in that space. And we have Dr. Manu Platt, who is a professor at Georgia Tech in the Department of Biomedical Engineering, and is does quite a bit of research on HIV/AIDS. So we're excited to have Dr. Platt coming and speaking to us as well. And this is in addition to all of the programming and the community breakout sessions and corporate deep dives and all different things that we'll be having throughout the conference programming. I said that we added some new programming tracks. The one I wanted to highlight for all of you is the new to the conference program track. So based on feedback from last year, we found that there were a lot of students who it was their first OSTEM conference and they really wanted some assistance in finding what are kind of the introductory programs that I can, go to and get a good feel for the OSTEM conference. So we highlighted those in our new to the conference program track. If you have a chapter advisor or a professional that will be joining you, or you're a professional yourself, you are also welcome to attend a professional track that we've launched for this year. So that will be our second track. I didn't highlight that in the deck for today because we have also have a professional kickoff call this Wednesday at 4 p.m. I believe it's at 4 p.m. It might be at 3 p.m. It's at 3 p.m. Eastern, excuse me. So we'll have more information about that during that call. But great new programming track if you have new members who it's their first time coming to the conference and they're looking for some programs that would be relevant to them. So that's our programming for this year. Obviously, there will be many more details available as we finalize our program schedule. We'll put all of those out there on our OSTEM website. I would really encourage you, if you haven't taken a look, under our Programs and Resources tab on our homepage, there's a link to the conference page, and you'll find a whole suite of resources that our conference team has put out there, including information about the schedule and many other pieces of information are located on our website. So I'd encourage you to go out and take a look at those resources. So I wanted to talk a little bit about how you can engage and how folks in your chapter and maybe you as an individual student can engage in our conference, both ahead of time, and really all of this is focused on ahead of time because we've talked about the conference programming. So submitting your CVs and resumes through our OSTEM Careers Portal. That OSTEM Careers Portal is open to all students in any of our OSTEM chapters. So you feel free to use that Careers Portal. There's more information about that at ostem.org/careers. And that careers portal is a great way to find open positions and other things that our sponsors are posting. So please go and check that out and submit your CV or resume ahead of time. We also have both chapter and individual awards that are currently open, and you can go out and apply to those awards actually right now. So our individual award is our OSTEM Global STEM Service Award. We've distinguished number of people who've won that award, including Marjorie Wilner from last year. So feel free to go out there, and if you have a nomination of somebody who's done some exceptional work for LGBTQ inclusion in the STEM community, I'd encourage you to also nominate them or to submit a self-nomination. And we also have 2 chapter awards that we carried over from last year. So we have our Rookie Chapter, Student Chapter of the Year Award, which is open to relatively new chapters, and there are specific eligibility requirements around that for those chapters that are founded within the last 2 years. You're welcome to apply for that award. And we also have the Overall Student Chapter of the Year Award, which is open to all of our chapters, including our rookie chapters. So feel free to go out there and submit an award if you are a chapter leader looking to recognize the hard work that your chapter has been doing. We're also still accepting poster submissions for our poster session. So if you've done any research over the summer or continue to do research in the school year, feel free to submit a poster for consideration for our poster sessions. And we also have some sessions for you to potentially be able to do a quick session, a quick oral presentation on your research in some symposium sessions this year. So please go out there and submit your poster as soon as possible, especially if you want to be considered for one of those symposium sessions. If you're interested, or if you have folks who are interested in getting an additional discount on their registration, we also have opportunities for folks to volunteer at the conference, doing session evaluations and registration help and several other things. So if you're interested in volunteering, you can actually do that through the registration system. So there's an option for you to click that you want to potentially volunteer at this year's conference, and so we'll contact you if you indicate that option when registering. And the last bit, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that we have a lot of other positions that are open across the OSTEM organization in addition to the great positions that we have at the chapter level. And so if you're interested in expanding your involvement or getting more involved in some way with the organization, I would encourage you to go out there and check out the various positions, including some VP level positions within the OSTEM organization that are currently open and accepting applications. And that's at ostem.org/join. I did want to quickly highlight a little bit more about the OSTEM Career Portal. You do have an opportunity to submit your resume and CV, like I said, and those resumes and CVs will be available to our sponsors ahead of the conference. There are all of our bronze level sponsors and up have access to those resumes and CVs. But we also have many of them submitting job postings, and I've been approving quite a few job postings just this week, postings that they are specifically coming to recruit for at the conference. So if you're looking for a job or an internship or anything of that nature at the conference this year, I'd highly encourage you to go out there and check out that OSTEM Careers portal and engage with those positions, and again, submit your resume and CV. So more information at ostem.org/careers. Okay. And then I wanted to cover the logistics for the conference. So there's again, like I said, a lot more information, a lot more detail on this on our website. Our logistics team, Janine's team, has done an excellent job of documenting a lot of the frequently asked questions that you may have, how to register for the conference, airfare, hotel, ground transportation, all different types of things are all detailed out on our website for you. Just wanted to quickly mention, you know, the hackathon location, like I said, is going to be in downtown Chicago, but the exact location is still TBD. So that's for our all of our Thursday programming and some of our Friday programming. But the main conference programming will be happening at the Hyatt Regency O'Hare, which is right next to the Chicago O'Hare Airport. So obviously, we're recommending that if you can and you're flying, please try to come into the O'Hare Airport because it is literally right next door. We do have an OSTEM hotel block that's open until October 26th, so you can get the OSTEM hotel rates, negotiated hotel rates using our hotel block, and there's information on our website about how to access that. And we've also opened up some discount codes with some of our airline partners. So grateful to have Air Canada, Delta, and United, all three supporting us with discounts for airfare. So if you're booking airfare and are looking to get a discount on that airfare, feel free to check out any of our meeting or offer codes that are available to you, and those can get you anywhere typically from between a 2 to a 10% discount on your airline ticket, depending on your ticket type. Like I said, more information on our website. The URL is at the bottom of the screen, but if you just go to our homepage and pull down conference programming from programming and or the 2017 conference from programs and resources, you'll find all this information out there as well. So when should you plan on getting there? So because of our hackathon, it kind of depends on if you're planning on participating in that hackathon or not. So we recommend that if you are participating in the hackathon, we are going to have transportation from the Hyatt Regency O'Hare, which will be leaving at around 5 p.m. Central Time on Thursday. So if you are participating in the hackathon, please be there by 5 p.m. If you are in the Chicagoland area or planning on already being in the Chicago downtown area because you're coming ahead of time for some reason, you're welcome to meet us at the location that we'll be kicking the hackathon off at 6 p.m. And we'll be communicating that location to all those who sign up for the hackathon as a part of their registration process. And again, it will also be available on our website. If you're not attending the hackathon, the main conference programming, all of the new to the conference session and our safe space training, and even some chapter leader summit that was not on our schedule, but I'll make sure it gets added up there. We are having a chapter leader summit also on the Friday afternoon. All of that will start no earlier than 12 p.m. on Friday the 17th. So if you are interested in getting the full conference experience, including that chapter leader summit, which you'll be hearing more about from, if you are a chapter leader, you'll be hearing more about that chapter leader summit from the membership team. Make sure you get there at least by 12 p.m. on Friday to participate in everything. And like I said earlier, our conference programming, all of it will wrap up no later than 1 p.m. Central Time on Sunday, November 19th. So here is the reason why I think a lot of you might be joining, which is the funding for this year and what funding looks like. So if you are a chapter leader or member, you're going to be lumped in to our chapter funding request process for this year. So all of the chapters, all of our chapters should have received information from our membership team at their official OSTEM email box, which ends in @chapters.ostem.org. I know many of you might have other email addresses, but that's the official one that we communicate with. You should have received something on the first from Sean Abrams, who's our VP for membership. If you did not receive that, or you don't have access to that email, for those of you who are on the call, we are extending the deadline to submit your chapter update information, which was the first step in making sure you were able to receive chapter funding. We've extended that to tomorrow evening, the 18th, and you can do that by going to update.ostem.org in order to submit your chapter updates there. Please make sure that if you don't have access to your @chapters.ostem.org email address, that you email or contact our membership team as soon as possible, because they're going to be sending up a follow-up communication confirming how much funding is available and next steps in order to be able to accept that funding. And there is going to be a tight deadline on that, so we can make sure we get as much funding out there as possible for this year. So if you have any questions, if you're a chapter leader or a chapter member, if you're a chapter member, contact your chapter leadership, make sure they've submitted this for you, and that they've included you all in potentially receiving funding from us for this year. If you're a chapter leader and you're not sure if you've gone and updated this, or if you're not sure what I'm talking about, then please email membership@ostem.org and make sure you fill out that annual update that the membership team requested you to fill out. If you are an individual, so if you don't have an OSTEM chapter at your school, then we are asking that you apply for individual funding through our conference page. So in the registration section, there's actually more information about how you go about applying for individual level funding through that page. I will say that if you're a student who has an OSTEM chapter at your school, this individual funding does not apply for you. We ask that you, like I said, go through the chapter funding route, but if you do not have an OSTEM chapter, or you're thinking about starting an OSTEM chapter and you're coming to our conference for more information about that, then you can apply through the individual funding route. Requests will be accepted based on need and desire to fully participate in the conference, and will also be somewhat first come, first serve. So if you are thinking about applying for individual funding for the conference and you are not part of an OSTEM chapter, I would encourage you to do that sooner rather than later. If you have any questions about that individual funding process, you can reach out to our finance team at finance@ostem.org. Okay. I did want to share some exciting changes that will be going more in depth at the conference. We'll be talking about these during our Saturday opening session, which I'll be delivering as a part of our conference programming. But there are three kind of key areas that I wanted to highlight to everyone that are in line with kind of the conversations that we had as an executive committee earlier this year. So we're going to actually be launching an OSTEM Incorporated Board of Directors this year. So that will be a big change for us at the global level, but may not be as impactful for you at the local level. Although we will have some folks coming in with lots of different knowledge and experience who be able to speak to some of the changes that we want to implement as an organization. We're also going to be launching membership dues and benefits at the conference this year. So for this year, you'll have an opportunity to sign up as an OSTEM member. It sounds like at the conference potentially, but in future years, we're going to actually be lumping those membership benefits most likely and membership dues into the conference registration fee, so that you'll have access to those. And we're going to be launching quite a few additional benefits over the next year in order to make joining as an OSTEM Incorporated member more enticing, including some scholarship opportunities and additional career resources that will be kind of members only resources. So more to come on that front. And we'll also be launching some professional chapters or piloting some professional chapters in 2018. So more information to come on that, like I said, at this year's conference, but we are intending that, we've had a strong pipeline of students coming through every year, and we want to make sure that you have a place to land once you are out of school, if that's where your path takes you. And so we want to give you an opportunity to land in one of our OSTEM professional chapters, and we are expecting that those professional chapters will also be wanting to engage with our college and university chapters in their local community, so hoping for some additional partnership opportunities there. I am going to move into questions and answers. So if you have any questions, feel free to type them into the chat box. If you're joining via the audio only on your phone, feel free to come off of mute, and you're welcome to ask me any questions. And for those of you who are answering the questions from the OSTEM side, if there are any questions in particular that you think that I should answer to the whole team, feel free to mention those in our Slack channel, and I will answer those more broadly. So there was a question about when I was talking about by updating our chapter information, if we were referring to the annual survey. Yes, we're referring to the annual chapter update, which is a few pages long survey. And if you're unsure if we're talking about the same thing, I'd encourage you to go to update.ostem.org and just take a look at the survey and double check that it's the same survey that you're thinking about. Any other questions? Perfect. Well, I really appreciate all of you for taking the time this Sunday to join us for a little bit of an overview of this year's conference. If you have any questions or need any additional information, please reach out to us. If you're not really sure where to direct the question to, feel free to reach out to me personally, and you can find all of my contact information on our website, or you can reach out to me through conference@ostem.org, and I'd be happy to answer any of your questions that you may have. So thank you all for joining, and have a great evening.